All right, what's going on, everybody? I'm Kyle with Out There, Texas. I'm going to bring to you several more videos of me doing outdoor adventures, exploration. I also do some gear reviews, so today that's one of the things I'm going to do, because when you're out there on the trail, or in general just out there in life, first aid is probably going to be something that's very important to you. It's very important to me. I built a Booboo Kit, first aid kit, IFAK kit, MFAK, whatever you want to call it. I chose this bag because it's got 3 simple compartments that hold everything that I find essential, and when we bring it inside, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Alright, the reason why I have it is because where we live in Texas, there's miles and miles of roads, and you never know what's going to happen, what you might come upon if there's a car accident and you need to help render aid. You've got some material or a first aid kit to do so. Or if you yourself are involved in an accident, you could always help render aid to yourself. So I always keep it in my truck. I've got one in both of our vehicles, so we've got that going on. And one of the main reasons why I do it is because first aid is key. It's going to get you to a stable point where you could either stop the bleeding and get to help. You can get to a park ranger. You can get to a first medical responder. You can get to the hospital. So what it's designed to do is to render first aid to myself or to anybody, any accidents or anything that I may come upon. So we'll start with the outside of the pack first. Let's talk about this here. That's just a good indicator. Every bag that has first aid in it should have something that indicates what it is. So that's what that's for. It just basically Velcros on. These here, let's push this aside. All right, I'll explain these later. These are non-latex gloves to protect either the person using them or to protect the person that they are being used on. Some people are allergic to latex, so I've got these here. If you saw the way that the bag was sitting, the way it sits in my truck is very similar to what we have here. So if I move the bag off to the side, it's got this Velcro on the back. It Velcros to the bottom of the seat. I'll show that here just so we can kind of see what's going on as far as storage in the vehicle. So let's put that aside. All right, first thing, cat tourniquet. Very important piece of equipment for a first aid kit. We have the, I leave it open. There's a little bit of Velcro on here and it helps stick to the bottom of the seat. There's plenty of videos out there that show how these work. You should probably have one for every person or personnel in your vehicle. It could be used on yourself, or it could actually be used in the case of an emergency if you roll up upon an accident, if you are, trained to do so to render aid. These are perfect for that, so these could save somebody's life. Trauma shears. They don't have to really be anything fancy. They just have to be trauma shears that work. They work great. They cut right through pretty much any clothing, any any piece of clothing that anybody may be wearing, because what you want to do is expose the wound that you may have to work on. So that's pretty much it for the outside of the pack. Let's go to the inside. All right, moving on to the inside. I always recommend to keep both of these little zippers at the top. That way it makes it very easy to open. This bag itself is actually separated into 3 sections. So I'll open it and kind of go section by section. So you'll see when I open it. All right. So you got the 3 sections here. I'm going to fold this one over real quick and start with the smaller section here. This section is basically the Booboo Kit. So kind of funny, but at the same time, kids get cuts, scrapes, bruises, scratches, splinters. That's pretty much what this one's for. Got a couple things in here. Sanitation wipes, smelling salts. That's really not a boo-boo thing, but it stays dry in here. Again, we've got Benadryl. That's great. Imodium. Looks like someone's already used one. All right, and a good set of tweezers. This one, I don't know if you can actually see it. We've got some pointy ones in here. See if it'll focus. And then we also have some slanted ones in there as well. We've got some regular Advil. I sometimes keep some other things in there, aspirin, Advil, things for minor headaches, minor fatigue. Plenty of small little Band-Aids. You never know when you got anything. And then we have some iodine vials here to help clean up anything. And then I do have some bigger gauze back behind all these Band-Aids. So for a little Booboo Kit, if ever needed, it's got quite a bit of little stuff in here, but we'll push all that to the side, repack it here before we put it all back together. Ace bandage, pretty generic. Plenty of things that you could use an ace bandage for. I particularly don't always keep my things in plastic, but the ace bandage does absorb moisture, so I've got that in the plastic. And then again, some medical tape. This is actually some really strong stuff, so if needed, to hold on any bandages, hold on any dressings, things along those lines, you've got that. Alright, moving on to the next section, the middle section here. So this actually rides over here. This is a sticky bandage. It sticks to itself, so if you have any dressings that you need to make sure that they stay in place, that's a good thing to have. Also, very similar to the ace bandage, only the difference is this one sticks to itself, which is great. Doesn't really stick to too much other things in there, but you got that. Do you have another set of trauma shears in here? It's a smaller set, just as a secondary backup. A pair of hemostats. You never really know what you'll need these for. They can come into many uses for many different things, and if you're not trained on most of the things in here, obviously you're probably going to want to take a class to learn all these things. An Israeli bandage. This bandage is pretty much a one size fits all kind of application for this bandage. It'll be similar to the ace bandage. It also can be used as a not as good as an actual tourniquet. This one's also not the best. The cat tourniquet is the best. This is a Swat Tea Tourniquet. Always good to have backups, but you got this going on in there as well. Since we're here, we'll talk about the Swat Tea Tourniquet. It's a pretty good, it's a stretch, wrap, and tuck. Swat Tea, that's what that stands for. Can be used for many different things. Several things in this bag can be used for obviously different things, different applications. So, got more tape. You never know when you're going to need tape. And then behind here, there's a little thing. Got a little Kevlar blanket. With actual blankets, full-size blankets, they take up a lot of space. This one is very small. It fits back in there. Doesn't hurt anything. It's great for if people go into shock after a car crash, things along those lines. Then I have a roll of gauze. It's actually in here pretty good, so I might just leave that. And that's pretty much all I've got in that section. So, all right. Again, we got the third section here. I do have a set of Nitrile Gloves. They are blue. These ones I don't believe. I'd have to check. I'm not sure if they're latex free. But I don't particularly care for the black ones when it comes to first aid, because you want to be able to see blood. If there's bleeding and you can't see it, black pretty much hides everything. And you're not going to be able to see everything. So these basically just tuck back in here. You don't have anything to worry about there. Nasal Pharyngeal tube. It does have a, I think it had a little packet that goes with it. A little petroleum jelly to help glide that down. There's plenty of videos that explain how this works. It's just another way to open up the airway. If for any reason your patient does stop breathing or has a blocked airway, this goes up the nose, I am sure it is not comfortable. This is the standard size, size 28. They do make other sizes, but the generic size. All right, since I pulled this one out, Blister Relief. This one's kind of again with that Booboo thing, it was just a little bit too big to shove into that little pack. But if you're out hiking, biking, maybe if you're at work, basic moleskin, it covers up your, I guess you would call hot spots. So super handy to have, especially when you need it. Back in this pocket here is empty. And then in the big pocket here, we've got plenty of fun stuff back here. Let me try to grab it all. All right. I've got many different sized gauze pads in here. I go from small to medium. I have some large ones in here. Again, you never know if you're ever going to have to pack a wound or if you're going to have to stop bleeding or clean up a mess. You've got this going on. Again, just a pretty decent size stack of many different sizes and right. A Sharpie marker. This comes in super handy if you have to mark on your patient. You can mark down on their actual skin or clothing or a piece of paper or whatever you could find to document any signs or symptoms, and that way you can monitor if things change. So you've got that going on there. All right, the rest of the stuff that's in this big pack, big side here, we got some Surrey strips, just in case you can't access a hospital to get stitches, or if it's not that severe, you may not need stitches, but this could actually help close up the wound fairly well, so we're going to set that aside. These are actual sutures, so not necessarily recommend for anybody who's not trained to use these, but it's not a bad thing to have in your pack because you never know who may come up upon an accident, or somebody you may be hiking with may be trained and can use them either on yourself or on another person. So these are really handy. They basically are a big clear, what they're used for is for IVs. If you have an IV that goes into your skin, this helps hold it on. It's clear, so you could actually see the wound. It also keeps dirt, water, things along those lines off of the wound itself. So super handy to have. So you got that going on there. And then these are chest seals. With everything going on in the world today, you never know. These are for a sucking chest wound. They could also be used for something very similar to these, but these are mainly for if for any reason you get shot, you're going to have a entrance wound and typically an exit wound. If you come upon somebody who has a gunshot wound, you should always be looking for an exit wound as well as the entry. So entry is probably going to be pretty noticeable. The exit may not be. So you got these going on in there. These could help save you or someone else. So again, I'm going to link everything below just so we have everything and listed. If you got any questions or want me to go into depth about anything a little bit further, go ahead and let me know down below as well. So hope this helps you guys and helps you guys stay safe. I just hope everybody stays safe and you don't have to ever use anything in here, but at least you'll have it if you need it.